Well, sticking in the SEC East shade, we got to get to your team here. The Tennessee Vols go on the road and fall to the Gators, 38-14. And just a little peeling back the curtain here for the audience. Cousin Shane was firing off those texts to me during this game. Oh, baby, he thought them Vols had something cooking with that big Javonte Payton 75-yard catch from Hendon Hooker. Tyon Evans had him a big, what was it, a 47-yard touchdown run. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Tennessee Vols, Shane, they were slashing them Gators for explosive plays. And then they didn't do nothing because the Gators, man, they are a complete team here. They won the rushing battle 283-148. Florida was 5 for 5 in the red zone, and I think most impressively 9 for 14 on third downs. The Gators were getting over 7 yards per first down, which just makes it so much easier on you on that second and third down, obviously. So, I mean, just basically a dominant performance for the Gators outside of those two explosive plays. And, I think, this is one we all circled. Could this be a trap game? You just played Alabama. You played your guts out, came up just short. How are you going to respond to this Vols team that no one's got respect for? Are you going to come down to their level? And it certainly looked like the Gators were early. Kyer Elam wasn't playing. Was that going to be a factor? No factor at all for the Florida Gators because Dan Mullen has got his program trending in the right direction. And even Emory Jones, who his mama loves him, apparently had to hear that 20 times. I was like, what a stunner. I mean, his
his mom. Wait, are you saying his mom?
But, big performance here for the Gators. Thoughts on this game, Shane?
Well, obviously, if we would have spiked the damn ball a few times, Mike, we would have won. If you asked McElroy, but no, I think on this one, Mike, I think it's optimistic, man. I'm coming from a Tennessee fan here. That's something we've never had or haven't had in a long time coming from this Florida game. We played them tough. Tennessee played them tough, buddy, and we got a scrappy bunch of boys out there. But they had to play a perfect game, and they were at times, man. The defense looked great. They knew what Florida was going to try to do, and they were doing just about everything they could to get them off the field, which I thought was impressive. Mm-hmm. But you think of little mistakes like that Copeland drop that had nothing but green behind him. If he would have scored, then we would have been a 3-point game again after half. So I think it was opportunities, and then obviously when Hooker got hurt, that was the end. But I will tell you this, Mike, out of all the games that I've watched this year, Florida has got to be winning in the halftime adjustments category. You think about the Alabama game last week. You think about the Tennessee game. He didn't come out with the same script he did in the first quarter. It felt like we did not have an answer. When they decided to, hey, let's be two-dimensional, let's don't just run the ball. Florida, I think, came out with a vanilla scheme, a vanilla offense. And when they realized that this was going to be a ball game there at half, I think he opened up the playbook a little bit, and that's what we saw. But like I said, Mike, I think, Florida has got a lot more talent than Tennessee, but Tennessee hung in there because they did have the heart, man.
Yeah, and I think if you're a Gator fan, you have got to be loving. I mean, we're all huge fans of Anthony Richardson, but Emory Jones has just put back-to-back outstanding performances on tape, and you need that going on the road next week to Kentucky in a hostile environment. They're already planning to go half white, half blue in that stadium. That's going to be their Super Bowl-type game because they sure do hate the Gators, getting them in at night. Those games have been fairly close in recent seasons. So you need that momentum with Emory Jones because just of his importance to the game plan for the Florida Gators. It finally looks like he's breaking out. He had well over 300 yards of total offense, 2 touchdowns. And for the Tennessee side, Shane, one thing I forgot to mention that kind of my main takeaway, hell, I don't think anybody, even the biggest Tennessee homer, thought Tennessee had a chance to win this game heading into it. But Josh Heupel, I continue to be impressed with his ability to just design these plays to have these guys wide ass open down the field. And not only just down the field, but just scheme up. All these plays are there to be made. They're just not always being made by the Vols, and because they just don't have the caliber of player that a lot of these elite SEC teams do. But if nothing else, I think that's got to give you confidence that once the talent is upgraded, or once they have a full roster of players that know the system, I think Josh Heupel is really a really outstanding X's and O's football coach on the offensive side, based on what I've seen after 4 games here.
Again, Mike, I came out of this game more optimistic than upset, and that's hard to do when you lose to the Florida Gators. But that's exactly where I'm at, because I think we've got the recipe. We just don't have all the ingredients yet. We don't have some of these wide receivers. They're young, they're inexperienced, they had a lot of drops. They're going to get better. We've got a quarterback in Hooker that I think he got better moving into this week, but he's still got a lot of work to do. And you saw that this team can be very exciting if they can get vertical. And that's something that they've not been – we have to have big plays to make this offense work. And you saw what happened when we did. We made it a ball game. So that's something we've just got to keep – we got to believe in ourselves, and I think this team is. So I think the future's bright. Just like I said, just to expect it in year one – especially with all the transferred out that we had, it's not impossible, but it's improbable that we have a extremely successful season. So, but again, that being said, a lot of good things came out of this game. Both sides. I think the fact that Florida, they were dealing with a few injuries coming into this game. You didn't have to roll out Anthony Richardson again. I think that's big. It's another week for him to get healthier, because there's going to come a time when you're going to need to roll out AR-15, and you're going to want him to be as healthy as possible. So I think it was good for the Florida Gators. I think they're happy about it, and I think Tennessee. There's some chirping, but for the most part, I think we're good too, because we know that brighter days are ahead for Tennessee.
And then Emory tonight set a record that had not been set since Tebow in 2009. Just what have you kind of seen from him over the past couple of weeks, and even from the first half to the second half tonight?
Yeah, I think you see him really settling down and understand. I thought he did a great job making his reads, managing the offense, getting us in the right checks, into the right plays. Decision making, and it was pretty good in the pass game. And then obviously scrambling. You look at we have 15 carries. That's probably a little much, but I think a bunch of them were kind of scrambles too, and him improvising. I don't know if we called many direct quarterback runs in the game tonight. So I think he had some runs and scrambles, some reads, and had some explosive. But I think it shows how he's managing things. And
you were still kind of learning how to call plays for Emory.
Yeah.
Different stuff tonight. I think you guys are more under center than you had been in the first 3 games. How are you, adapting and growing with Emory?
Yeah, I just think, when the playbook opens up and we have different plans each week, and I think you're starting to see his confidence a little bit more play in, and which, gives us more confidence to even, throw more things in from the playbook right there of how we want to attack teams.
And what was your assessment of the defense tonight?
I thought played excellent. I thought Todd did a great job with getting the guys ready to play. They're an explosive offense, tough offense to play. You look in the first half, we had a couple of missed tackles, which allowed them to keep a drive alive, and then that one touchdown was a missed tackle. And then, we had a blown coverage, in your man coverage, cover your man. It's not like we were being real complex with it all. Just had a missed assignment there. But I think you saw what Todd and his guys were able to do, the adjustments they made at halftime for us to come in and pitch the shutout in the second half. And, really since, they hit a 75-yard blown coverage bomb, and they don't score again. And so I think Todd and his staff did an amazing job tonight.
Yeah, Josh, what did you think of Hendon's game today? And was Joe healthy enough to start this game? And then what's Hendon's status coming out of this too?
Yeah, really didn't want to play Joe in this game if we could, just based off of the amount of work that he got during the week and where we felt like he was at the end of the week. I thought Hendon played hard, competed, made some big-time plays inside of the pocket, used his feet, opportunistic. Had a play or two down the field that we didn't connect on. I thought he handled the noise, the communication for the most part in a really positive way during the course of the game. Handled the ups and downs and continued to fight and compete and do it in a positive way, get on the sideline in his demeanor too. So, a ton of positives there.
I know you value progress a lot. In what ways do you think this team is better than it was against Bowling Green?
I think we're a better football team in our understanding of what we're doing and in some ways execution. When you're playing a really good football team like this, though, when there's opportunities and those things arise, you gotta make those plays. And today I didn't feel like we did that.
Yeah, Josh, can you just talk about, I know the second half didn't go your way, but you had some things going there until that Callaway drop. Can you just talk about that because you had converted to 4th and 5 and then obviously that play?
Yeah, I had a couple. The second half, the flow of it. The clock was draining on everybody's drives during the second half. There weren't a ton of opportunities. You had to maximize every one of those drives, and a couple situations that we're in 4th down that we got Callaway on a simple drag route that's got a chance to pick up the first down and maybe go the distance. We're in a 4th and short and. Unique situation, having moved centers and end up in a delay of game there and feel like you have to punt the football. So just some unique things that unfolded that you can't do if you want to win against a really good football team like this, you just can't do it as a program. So we got to get better.